Okay, so let's talk about dimensions. Today I'll be talking about the third dimension, the fourth dimension, and the fifth dimension. So let's start with the third dimension. The third dimension is made up of fear and the material world, having things and being in fear of losing them, accumulating possessions, feeling insecure and not enough. We don't trust other people because they could take our power from us, so we become controlling to be in a stronger position. We define ourselves by what we possess and what we do for a living. We are separated from God and everyone. As long as we are not one with Source, we cannot experience oneness with all that is. We believe death is something dark and at the end of our lives. We believe we only live one life. We believe this world to be a place of scarcity. Therefore, we believe we have to fight for our well-being because there is not enough for everyone. We believe life is supposed to be a competition with winners and losers. We think it is okay to lie because everyone does it. We are convinced that we have to be right about things. We believe in certain roles for men and women, men being the strong nurturer and women being the weak caretaker. This has been changing with feminism. We believe we cannot be whole without another person. We experience joy on very rare occasions, such as in nature or sexual ecstasy. These take us into the now moment, where the ego does not exist. The neediness for a partner comes from the partnering of masculine and feminine energy in the present moment. We don't understand that we create this wholeness for ourselves and access the higher dimensions from a need to a sharing basis. The ego is always dwelling on past events and future possibilities. We don't see that the only real place is to be in the now. We were taught that it is selfish to love ourselves. The opposite is true. Not loving yourself keeps the void in you alive. In 3D, you are living in a low vibration of separation, duality, and free will. Our higher self is not integrated with the physical body because it cannot handle the density and low frequency. It connects through our spiritual body, but when our chakras are blocked, it can't get through to us. That causes the belief that we are separated from God. We believe our life to be full of coincidences and no destiny, as we are unaware of our true identity, which is a spiritual being in a physical body suffering from amnesia. Our ego only operates from the vantage point of this life because it is not with us from previous lives. Only our cell structure and DNA carries the memories of our lineage. Only our soul knows about our experiences and past lives. As long as the ego is in charge, instead of our hearts, our soul is blocked from our true selves most of the time, and we are living an illusion and can't access the higher realms. Our intuition or the truth is ignored, and the ego takes over because we can't prove what we feel. We walk around blindfolded as we try to figure out our lives. We believe our happiness is outside of us. We adapt to the game and the 3D illusions of reality because everyone does. We suppress the questions about our purpose, our true origin, and our talents and gifts, and accept the illusions so that we don't appear insane or an unrealistic dreamer to others. So we stick with the system, not realizing that we have been programmed with all kinds of false beliefs. We do not see that the whole system is a matrix based on fear. As long as people are in fear, you can keep them in control and make money with them. We think having a lot of money will earn us respect because we can have material things. Our possessions keep us dependent on protecting what we have. We think negative thoughts and don't trust anyone. In a 3D world of duality, we experience light and dark, happiness and sadness, better and worse. We have a choice to act as saints or demons, experience love or fear with our free will. As long as we are choosing fear, we will repeat our experiences and patterns of behavior until we choose love. Once we choose love permanently, we become self-aware and our frequency rises. We let go of the ego mind and let the heart take over and become a free spirit. We learn how the universe works and how we can create our reality. We understand that we are in charge of our life. We learn that there are no victims or perpetrators. There are only teachers that help us grow. We do not have to wait to die to enter into the light. We can do that by being in a human body. Okay, so let's go on to talking about the fourth dimension. The magical dream world or astral plane are on the fourth dimension. More fluid than the third dimension, but there is duality and the ego exists still here. We visit this space in our dreams at night, and anything is possible. A mouse can be transformed into a lion. We can fly or breathe underwater. We can be many places at the same time and have conversations with the strangest creatures. Experienced astral travelers can experience this during the day and have out-of-body experiences or sexual adventures. This is where ancient civilizations and shamans can travel. These journeys gave them access to the underworld and the upper world. Ceremonies or drugs were used to get there. Depending on the energetic vibration of people, traveling to the astral plane can be very exciting or a fearful experience. Spiritual drugs will never take you above the fourth dimension. In the astral plane, we get in touch with our higher self and learn more about our fears and our purpose. In this timeline, we can learn more about our collective consciousness. Light and dark come into conflict easily. Once we learn to create healthy boundaries, we can absorb the darkness with our light. Most people don't experience their astral experiences consciously, which makes it harder to detect energetic manipulations. There are no human laws for regulation or control, only light and darkness. People on a higher frequency from birth are not experiencing the astral plane at all and feel fatigued in their existence in the third dimension because of the difference between the 3D and the fifth dimensional frequencies. They go through the same 3D programming as everyone else, but are always questioning and sabotaging themselves. A lot of these people can be addicted to drugs and alcohol because they are not able to cope with the density and get in touch with their spiritual gifts. They just want to fit in at an earlier stage in their lives. Drugs and alcohol are at lower frequencies and can cause anxieties and depression. Those in higher frequencies experience dream in the unconditional love of the fifth dimension and do not have nightmares. They are experiencing their ascension in a more subtle and heartfelt way and faster than usual. They clear their 3D programming quite quickly as their system wants to return to its natural frequency as quickly as possible. Once spiritually aware, they tend to know things without realizing why. That is because they have access to other timelines and dimensions. This usually happens for a few minutes, and they feel cold and confused after the experience. The experience of being in the different dimensions is not better or worse, just different. Okay, so let's continue on with the fifth dimension. This is the plane of light, unconditional love and source energy. Linear time does not exist, and many timelines can be accessed. You can have a physical body in this dimension, but it is lighter and of a different cell structure. There is no pain or fear, only unconditional love and abundance. Our higher self has had to integrate with our physical body and let it take over. Your higher self has to heal from bodily experiences and adjust to your body at first, and moves in and out of your body until it settles in permanently. You reach a point where you adjust to the flow. In the 5D, all of our actions are based on love and oneness, when we feel a connection to everything and everyone around us, including source energy. We live in unity consciousness, but we see ourselves as individuals of a whole collective. We remember who we are and are aware of our eternal soul. Manifestation is easy and a reality in our lives. Everything happens effortlessly as we trust the perfect universal guidance. There are no limits. We live in complete freedom and authenticity as there is no fear, aging, or illnesses. We live as long as we want until we decide to leave the body. This happens smoothly and without pain. In the fifth dimension, we can connect to our hearts easily and live from the heart. We move beyond sexual desires because we have balanced our masculine and feminine energies. We have come androgynous energetically. Sexual energies can be expressed without sexual contact with others. They can be created by the individual. So sex is not created out of a neediness or lust, but becomes a sharing between two people that resonate on the same energetic level. Or it is experienced alone and is just as beautiful. This becomes a divine spiritual experience in perfect equilibrium and love. Therefore, it is not surprising that sex is seen as shameful or sinful in the third dimension, to keep people from discovering their true creative power. Once someone has raised their dimension to a higher level, the return to lower dimensions is not possible unless the person chooses it consciously. This has been a choice made by starseeds and angelic beings to help humanity ascend. People in the fifth dimension are immune to the 3D frequencies as there is no resonance. They do not attract darkness and live in the light exclusively. They cannot be seen by people in the third dimension if they have not opened themselves up to higher frequencies. That is when duality and linear time is dissolving and life is in the now. All experiences are embraced with gratitude, as the soul knows that everything has a purpose for its own growth and expansion of consciousness. Contact with angels and extraterrestrials becomes easy and part of the daily experience. We receive information directly from spirit through telepathy and teleportation. In this dimension, there is deep trust that everything is happening perfectly. On this plane, we have learned to go with the flow and let Source work out our miracles for us. There is no need to be right in the fifth dimension, as there is no ego. We have a free spirit working with our body and soul. We do not take anything personally from people who have not reached that plane yet. We know that they have baggage and we know about their journey, and we do not judge them or blame them, but love them unconditionally as we know that they are part of the whole. We know that there is no danger and no need for protection. We know that our light shines so bright that it absorbs the dark automatically. In the fifth dimension, we live in the universal energetic laws, knowing that we create what we think. There are no man-made laws, and people trust the guidance of the flow. There is no need for possessions and to compare oneself with another. Everything is shared. We appreciate our individuality as part of the whole. We know that our needs are always met and we are always taken care of. We live in gratitude and in a state of enlightenment. It is referred to as heaven on earth.